Good morning, family. Praying that you're doing well on this another Sunday, this first Sunday of June. Praying that you're doing well. Praying that you had a great month for the month of May. You know you had a lot happening, Memorial Day and all those things, but praying you had a great holiday, long weekend, and everything else that took place in the month of May. And we're praying that you have buckled up and you're prepared for God to bless in the month of June. So I don't want to keep you. We are halfway through the year, June. What a blessing that God has kept us this far. So we ought to just give God a praise for his keeping power alone. The fact that he kept you for 6 months, you've made it to this month. Well, actually, until you make it to the end of the month, it'll be 6 months. But we're right here in June. So we are grateful that God has sustained us. I want to jump in with a quick praise break moment. I was thinking, sometimes you find yourself in a space where you're looking for a praise break moment, but I found one that's about 25, 26 years old. Um, this one will shout you a little bit different because you have to have done it to shout about it. You'd have to have been a person who's done this to shout about it. But I'm willing to bet many of you have, and you may not have observed what you've done. And you deserve to give God praise for it. It's a praise break. So, some 25, almost, I want to say I'm going into my 30th year of marriage. So this was early on. My wife and I were young, and we were with my brother and his wife, also a newlyweds, right behind us, but newlyweds pretty much, within those first 4 years. And we were for some reason, at a basketball court. Me and my brother, we always played hoops anyway, so we were always playing ball. Anyway, I think our wives accompanied us this one particular time, and this particular time, both of our wives were going to play us in a game, and we decided that if they beat us, we'd give them a shopping spree. I'm going somewhere in this praise break, and I want you to catch it. And so, I don't know about my sister. She, I believe she played before. I think she played basketball. But let me tell you something about my wife. My wife is I think she had athletic capabilities, but she was not an athlete. So me and my brother were just expecting to we're just gonna handle business. No big deal. No money spent. No shopping spree. But we were wrong. We got into that game, family, and let me tell you, they turned into Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese on us. They started scoring and going to the basket, and it wasn't no traveling or nothing like they had played before. It looked almost as though something had clicked inside of them that they were finna go shopping, and they turned into the WNBA stars. And I thought about that, and me and him talked about it recently, and we laughed about that time. And I thought about that for us as a praise break. When the stakes are up, how many of us woke up? Yeah, when the stakes were up, how many of us woke up? Family, you may not have had the skills. You may not have had the levels of training that others may have had. But when it came time to level up, you upped your level. We learned a lesson from them that day. Now, although they barely lost because we had to get serious at one point and really play ball to win. We won. But I want you to know that that was one of the most difficult games we ever had to play because they had leveled up. And that is a praise break for somebody. Aren't you glad that God instilled in you the ability to level up? Or when they told you you couldn't do it, you just dug a little deeper. When they told you you couldn't make it, you just kept going a little bit stronger. You kept it pushing. And although they might have said you didn't have the skills to do what they said, they told you what you couldn't do. Look at you. Look what God has done. Yeah, the stakes were up, and you woke up. Something clicked inside of you, and you went the maximum, and look at what God has done with many of you in your careers, in your businesses, in all of your aspirations and your dreams that you push for, in your education, all those things, you leveled up. The stakes were up and you woke up. Isn't that a praise break for somebody? You ought to pat yourself on the back and give God a praise that He put that switch in you. That whenever the stakes are high, I'm going to step it up. No matter what happened to me. How many people have gone low on you? You've done like First Lady Obama said, that when they go low, we go high. And you got higher. That's the praise break for you. All right, let me jump into the message for you today. If you have your Bibles, open it to Luke chapter 10. We'll access in a few verses. Excuse me. Verse 38 through 42. Luke 10, 38 through 42. And of course, you know I'm going to put it on the screen for you to make it a lot easier for you to see and hear. Luke chapter 10, starting at the 38th verse, you will find these words. As Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister, Mary, sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me. But the Lord said to her, My dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken from her. That is God's word for God's people. May be blessed from now until even after time is no more. It will still stand. For a few moments, family, I want to talk to you with this subject. And pray that it blesses you into this week or into the journey that you're on or to the place that you're in, or that it's just fruitful for your life. That it's just fruitful for your life. Picking priorities in a pivotal place. Picking priorities in a pivotal place. We live in a busy time. People today are just busy. Busy at work, busy after work, busy at rest. At rest, we are busy too, because if we're not binge watching our favorite TV shows, then we're glued to our devices and our tablets, our computers, looking at other busy people, trying to see what they do that if we do will make us more busy. Yeah. I want to try that new recipe, so you're busy watching. I need that new decor, and I need to see where to go get it. And if we're not careful, which all of us are guilty, each thing we fill our day with will be competing for our priority. What is important? What is it that matters? What is it that's the thing of the day, or the most important thing to me at this moment? I remember when I learned how to prioritize. I learned it from my mother's shopping list, and I bet you have too. On her list were priorities and non-priorities. Back then in the 70s, people shopped with a list. They didn't have money that would go a long way, so they had to make sure that whatever they got in their cart matched their money, the money that she could afford to spend. So that priorities were things like eggs, milk, cereal, food for the week. Those were all on the top of the list as a priority. We needed those things. But as she went down the list with her calculator, because she's keeping track of how much these cost and how much she can spend, are the things that are not a priority. Yeah. She knew what she could spend and what she couldn't spend. And if those priorities of what she needed were met, then she would send me to get some items that were not a priority. Yes, she would send me to get my cookies, maybe some Twinkies or some Little Debbie snack cakes or some ice cream. You see, she understood that in that situation, what was most important mattered. And all those things that were important needed to be in the basket, and what's least important could only happen if there was anything extra from things that were prioritized on the list. I learned how to prioritize watching her. What about us today? We would rather double and triple book ourselves or get everything on our list and be broke than to prioritize not only our list of wants, but our time too. Today, family, I want us to check our time with this text and check our priorities. Because, family, you will come to a place where picking the right priority may be pivotal for your blessing. Oh, I need to say that to you one more time. Because you will come to a place where picking the right priority may be pivotal to your blessing. Perhaps some of us have prioritized wrongly, and that's why we can't find peace. You put your career above Him. You put your lover as your everything. And then you give God a blessing at mealtime and you expect miracles, covering, peace in storms, and for Him to jump on and jump in front of demons at your door whenever you call Him. Maybe it's not that He doesn't want to be there, but just that He can't go and bless where He's not wanted or prioritized. Yeah, you can't put Him last and expect Him to show up first. Some of us have picked the wrong priority. Some of us have taken things above Him. This text is going to help us redirect ourselves and correct ourselves, because all of us, family, are guilty of picking a wrong priority in our life. Yeah, you've picked some things that were not about Him, that were about you. You've chosen to go ways that weren't about the way He was trying to get you to go. It was about you going your own way. You've done some things where it wasn't His voice you were listening to, it was your own. You've picked the wrong priorities. But there's good news from the text today. News that will help us, news that will direct us, news that will bring us back. Let's look at the text. Two sisters are identified in the text, Martha and Mary. They have the master of all blessings in their home, and they're here to teach us today. One of them says to themselves, I need to make sure he feels at home. He's well fed. I need to make sure the red carpet is rolled out, and he knows that my offering is a sacrifice for him because he's the master, and I want to give him my very best. Let me impress him with my busyness. Yeah. Can I stop and tell someone that busyness is not the business? Let me say that to you again. Busyness is not the business. Just because you work hard at your job doesn't mean you are doing what he wants you to do in this life. Some of us, family, are fooled into believing that our careers dictate our service to him. That can't be true, because you work next to people that don't even believe in God and they get the same paychecks that you do. No, we as believers got jobs in high places not to brag about it, not to boast about it, not to chase dollars, not to chase accolades, but so that people can see an impossibility like you and I and believe in the God who put us there before they die. That's why we're there. If you're missing that, you've got your priorities mixed up. And I'm here to help you today. God is trying to talk to you today. This text is trying to talk to you today. Your job is to show his presence in a place where he's not present. Back to the text. Martha is rolling out the red carpet. She's in the kitchen. my imagination of the best that she's doing, and I got to use my imagination with it, is she's cooking collard greens. She's cooking mac and cheese, cornbread from scratch. The roast is in the oven. She's cutting and dicing the appetizers and pulling out the very best china, laying out a spread out of this world because it's Jesus. Oh man, can you catch the aroma that's going through the house? I remember that aroma at whenever my grandmother would be cooking Sunday's dinner, that she was pulling out the very best, and you could smell it in the air, and it just made you feel great. That's what Martha was doing. She's rolling out the very best for Jesus. But the question that we have from the text is, has she made him a priority or impressing him a priority? There's a question for you. Has she made him a priority or impressing him a priority? Some of us have made it a priority to try to impress God, but impressing him is not the priority, because we need to take a look at the other sister and she'll help us see clearer in Mary. She's not in the kitchen. She didn't help with cutting up anything or any of the seasoning. She didn't help roll out the red carpet. All she wanted to do was sit in the presence of the master and listen and learn. My God, don't miss your shout. In a time of pivotal choice, she pivoted to him and not herself. At a time where she could be busy and in the business of being busy, she chose to sit next to him and listen and learn. She didn't pivot to her own desire to impress him. She pivoted to him for herself. That is somebody. Let's keep going in the text. So here comes Martha. She mad because one thing that happens to us when we get busy, we get tired and pause to look around at who ain't busy. Yeah, one thing happens to us when we're doing all the work is we look around and we see who not working. 90% of the mess at our churches starts like this. We're doing a little something thinking that we're impressing God with our skills and our abilities, and we look around at somebody who may not be doing it because it may not be their assignment, and we're mad that we're doing more and they're doing less. Martha stops for a moment and says, wait a minute. I've been in here in this hot kitchen doing it all, and you are here just chilling with the company? Yeah, she mad. Family, here is an early case of misery loves company. She wants her sister to be as tired and wore out as her and asks Jesus to make her get up and get in there with her. But I promise I can shout you and be on my way with Jesus' response that helps us understand Mary's position. He says Mary has found the only thing that is most important in her priorities, and that will not be taken away from her, and that is my presence. It's gonna hit you real soon. Here it comes. You see, family, there are benefits from being in his presence that can't be attained by being busy trying to impress him. I'm gonna say that for somebody in the back. There are benefits from being in his presence that can't be attained by being busy just trying to impress him. Some folk go to church to impress him for coming, to impress them for doing some work. But I never went into the church building or now my home or anywhere else I am to impress anyone. And I ain't trying to impress you today with my words. I wanted to be in his presence. Whether I directed choirs towards it upon his anointing falling, or I sat in the pews, or I preached his word, I just wanted to be close to him. All I ever wanted to do was be in his presence, just to be close to him. I got all my presence, presents, from being in his presence, presence. I got all my presents. I got all my gifts from being in his presence. You're not going to get what you need by just being busy. You've got to sit next to Jesus. You've got to hear what he's saying. You've got to listen with attentiveness. You've got to hear him for yourself. And when you do, you will be blessed with all you need to get benefits in this life. I got all my presents from being in his presence. Fred Hammond said it best in the song. He said, just to be close to you is my desire. Just to be close to you. Sitting under him keeps me sane. I hear clearer. I tolerate folks better at work and at home. He can chastise me when he needs to, when I'm in his presence. He can work on me and fix me because I'm broken about things in this life. I've got to be in his presence to get that. Let me help you with his presence fixing things, and I'll bid you good day. I recall a time I had a bike growing up, and I rode it so much that my chain broke. It looked impossible to fix. I spent days trying to fix it. I was little, couldn't fix it, so I just parked it in the garage and left it. As my friends rode, I either walked or ran. Every now and then, one of them would let me ride their bike, but it was their bike, not mine, so I could not enjoy it forever. Until one day, my father asked me where was my bike. I said it was in the garage, that my chain had broken. He asked me, and I'll shout you here, why didn't you tell me? And he went into the garage along with me. And my father grabbed the tools that he needed, sat next to me, showing me what was wrong, and he fixed my bike. He could have fixed my bike all along, but I refused to tell him or get my bike in his presence to fix it. Can I help you? My God, how long has your bike been in the garage? You running and you out of joy. You're running because you can't get to where you need to go. How long has your bike been in the garage? You're walking with your head down because the doctors have said you're sick. How long has your bike been in the garage? You're working and making good money, but when it's time to enjoy it, peace gets away from you. How long has your bike been in the garage? You see people riding and having fun, but you're not because you don't have your bike. Or how about this? How much time have you spent on your own, working on your bike without the right tools or no tools or ability to fix it? Or how about the times you got to ride someone else's blessings but never could enjoy it because it wasn't your own that you were blessed with? Family, the bike that I'm talking about is your life. The bike in the garage was my choice. At a pivotal place, I dumbed down the priority and parked it because I broke it, but there was actually a repairman in my presence had I got next to him. Family, I want to help you now. You're in a pivotal place, and you may have picked the wrong priority like me. I needed to get from A to B. I needed to be with my friends. I needed to ride back and forth. How long did I let the bike sit in the garage because I refused to go talk to someone who could fix it for me? I was in a pivotal place, and I picked the wrong priority. Mary got it right. Can you do like Mary and like me eventually with my bike and get in his presence? In his presence is fullness of joy. Not half joy, but full joy. Everything that you need is in his presence. This is why he said to her, Mary has chosen the best part, and this will not be taken away from her. While Martha thought that being busy was all about the things she was doing and rolling out the red carpet, sometimes you don't need to roll out the red carpet. You just need to sit down on the carpet next to him and listen to him. She chose the best part. Picking priorities in a pivotal place are going to require you, family, to get next to him. It's going to require you to sit in his presence a while. It's going to require you to sit in the quiet of the morning, looking outside at the beauty of his handiworks, being thankful that he allowed you to see another day. It's saying a prayer that might just tell him that you're grateful and that whatever the day brings, you and him are going to tackle it together. I don't know what they're going to do to me today at work. I don't know how it's going to be, Lord, but I know that if I sit next to you, I've got a better chance of hearing how and what's coming my way so that I can be prepared when the battle comes. God is simply trying to hand you all the ammunition you need. But you're not going to get it being busy in the kitchen. You're only going to get it at training next to him. He's going to hand you everything you need to beat the enemy in this life. Family, pick him as a priority. If all I can tell you before I let you go today is you've got to prioritize him again. I mentioned to my wife I was saddened by something that I seen. And I'll share it with you, and I'll close with it. I love music, and many of you know that they named me Reverend Remix because I would usually remix all these songs with Michael Jackson or something and make it a church song. I would put that flavor, that melody, but we were doing it as a choir. Recently, I looked and I saw that there are other artists and people who could sing very good, and they're doing these choir covers of secular songs, but they're not doing the church versions. They're not doing versions that point to God. They're doing versions of the song that's itself. And I told her I don't want to sound hypocritical, but that's not what I did. That's not even what the Sunday service choir has done. They're using songs, but the songs that they're singing reflect Christ. What are we picking now? Is where I'm going with this. We've got our priorities so mixed up that the people who can really worship and sing no longer want to sing the praises of God. Maybe it's our fault. We've gotten rid of the choirs. We want to blame it on the pandemic, but choirs will come back if we tried to make it in our churches. If we put choirs back into place, we'd have choirs. And I said to her, there is no God that's being sung about by choirs anymore to compete with them or give them an outlet. What I mean by that, and I don't want to get all these hate mails from worship leaders and all this stuff, but we're doing worship teams now. Remember how powerful choirs were? Remember you had a 50-person or maybe even a 25-person choir could be a good choir. We had big time choirs. And when they worshiped, the Spirit of God was ushered in and his presence was in the room. Maybe God can't sit with people because we're no longer putting his presence available to them. I want you to think about that and think about these other things that are out there that are competing for priority. The devil is crafty, family. He is going to make sure that there is this alternative to everything that God has. He's doing it. And if people choose that and don't choose God, we only have to ask ourselves why. Is it what we're doing in our churches? Is it no community service? Is it we're not helping our youth anymore? What is it that we're not doing? So I'm off my soapbox for that, but pick your priorities wisely. When you're in a pivotal place, your careers are not for you. Yeah, I know you did all the work. That's great. God blessed you. You did all the work. That's wonderful. We are so proud of you. But God has blessed you so that when they see you, they see the impossibility that you came from. And trust me, family, I know you came from an impossibility. You weren't supposed to make it. You weren't supposed to graduate. You weren't supposed to get to the next level. You weren't supposed to live in that neighborhood. You weren't supposed to get that job position. God put you there because he wants to show a dying world before it's too late. Look, here is one of mine that I can put anywhere I want so that you can see that I'm real. I'm done. Got nothing else for you today. Pick your priorities wisely. Some of us are in pivotal places right now. You're in a pivotal place because you don't have him or don't know him as your Lord and Savior. He wants to be yours. Pick him today. Let's check Jesus as mine off the checklist. Pick your priorities. That's all I got for you today. God bless you. God keep you. May he watch over you, and may he give you peace. Bless you, and I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. God bless.